Hey there, Floyd and I were talking today about all of the things that God's doing in our lives and just the way that He's closing doors and opening doors and just how the seasons are coming and going. And we've come to a point in life where we realize that God is closing the door for us to do foster care. So we are officially saying goodbye to that season of our lives, and we just wanted to come on here and share with you our thoughts and just what God's doing.
So like she was saying, we've transitioned out of foster care. We are officially done for now. We don't know what the future may hold, but for now we've decided to just put it into it. And the boys that we have now, they're transitioning out. And it's been a really emotional time. A really tough decision was made, but we know that, like she said, God has started to open doors for other things to happen and for us to expand on the way that we serve and the things that we're a part of. So we're at the end, and we're just excited for what's to come, and we're just tying up loose ends and trying to make sure that the boys are taken care of in the places that they're going to be going. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We're just really excited because we know that the things that are to come are going to be huge, and there's going to be a lot of blessings happening. We're going to have a lot of opportunities to serve in new ways and just cater to people's needs in ways that we haven't been able to do it before. So
yeah, it's definitely been an interesting season for us. God has really just tore off some band-aids. I feel like it's crazy when you're walking with God because He really does just out of nowhere tell you to do something. And of course, we're human, so usually we fight it or we try to figure out why, or if it's really God telling us to do it. But God made it clear to us that He wants us to close the door and to move forward as far as foster care. So we have peace about it, and we're honestly just excited about what He wants to do through us. We know that He's called us to serve as a family, and He wants to use our marriage. So we're just like, whatever you want to do with us, God, just light our path. So here we are. We're not officially 100% done. We still have some loose ends to tie, like Floyd said, but we definitely won't be taking any more placements. It's been emotional. It's been emotional for us and for our kids.
yeah, so we'll just get into some of the things that we've learned throughout our journey doing foster care, and the things that we're going to take with us, and just overall everything that we experienced. I guess I'll start with saying that it's made me a lot more patient, a lot more understanding to the situations that these kids are going through, or even just our kids or us. We went through so many different things, and I was able to learn a lot of patience. And God showed me and helped me to understand that the situations that people come from can impact who they are and their behaviors. And even if they're a good person deep down, it takes so much on top of that they've been through that it kind of masks who they are. And He used us to be able to chisel away at those things and bring out the best in a lot of these kids and be able to see a complete change in their lives. And I think that's the biggest thing that I'm going to take with me. And the biggest thing that I've learned is that God can use me, use us, and we have to be willing to be patient and be understanding and show love even to the kids that are hard to love, and know that God has a bigger purpose for their life through the things that He's going to use us in. So
it was very humbling, and it took a lot of faith in God and a lot of just dying to ourselves in order to let God use us, because we have our own ways of thinking how we should handle situations. But when it comes to foster kids, it's a lot different. You have to have a different approach than you would with your own children. So I think that that's really just built our relationship with God and made it stronger, because we really had to rely on Him to show us how to love these kids and to give them the things that they needed. So it has been a very big blessing for us to be able to put God in the middle of our parenting, and we know that that's gonna follow us even in our parenting with our children.
Yeah, like she said, our parenting style has changed completely. We've learned so much about how to be a parent to our own kids by parenting these foster kids and showing them, you have to reach deep within yourself to pull out that love for them. And sometimes with your own kids, you get a little complacent, or you feel like they don't need as much because they have a better situation than the other kids. But that's not how it works. They need just as much love and attention as the foster kids did. And we were able to grow as parents throughout this, what has it been, like 5 years of fostering? So for our kids, they were able to see firsthand the effects that their parents' decisions can make and how it can impact a child's life. And they were able to see that through all of the kids who came and left. And they grew an appreciation for me and Jocelyn because they were able to see that they have parents who are there for them and take care of them and just provide all the needs a lot of these kids didn't have. They just didn't have the basic necessities. And so our kids did. We were able to see growth in them as far as their appreciation for what they have and the life that they have.
Yeah, and another way that I've seen all of us really grow is just learning how to love people and let them go. And that's something that I talked about in one of my other videos. I would definitely link that up. But I was just talking about how God can push us to be a part of someone's life, and then one day he'll tell us that, okay, you're done. And you kind of have to learn how to say goodbye. And a lot of times that's not easy, especially for our daughter, Cameron. She struggles with that a lot. And she's come a long way because she's the type of person who gets attached very easily to people. And at first she had a really hard time saying goodbye to people, and especially the children that came into the home. But she's come to understand that people are not meant to be in your lives forever, or at least not all people, and that she has to just take the moments and the memories that she had with them and just cherish them. And even if she can't bring those people with her for the rest of her life, she can always look back on the times and the memories that she's had and just the things that she's learned and hold tightly to those things.
Yeah, same. That's what I noticed. Even with Uriah is a little more, I think he adjusts easier than Cameron does, but he grew a lot of close attachments, especially with the younger boys that were his age. A couple in particular he grew really close to, and when they left, he just didn't really know how to feel. He doesn't show a lot of emotion or cry or anything like that, but I know that it affected him. He'll be looking for them randomly, like, when is this person going to come back, or are we ever going to see them again? And I could see that it's just something that was on his mind. But over time, he was able to accept that, okay, this was the time that I had with them. And he looks at those memories and it brings him joy, and he's happy about those moments, but he's able to move on and know that everyone's not meant to be there for the rest of your life, like Jocelyn said. And I think that he's doing a really good job. Him and Cameron both are doing a really good job of just growing in these relationships, giving what they have to give for a season, and then moving forward when that season is up.
Yeah, I think we've all grown in that area of life. And I feel like it's kind of been God's way of preparing us for where he wants to take us. Because we're not always going to be able to build that relationship over time. Sometimes he'll just send people our way when we're at the grocery store or when we're getting gas. You know, it's just like being open to being vulnerable, but also not expecting it to be like this huge life-changing thing or this thing that's going to last forever. I think the biggest thing that I'm going to miss as far as doing foster care would be the excitement and the vulnerability that it takes to open up your home to a new child. There's nothing like the butterflies that you get and the questions that go through your mind when you're on your way to go pick up new children. And it's amazing how you learn about yourself. Because when we first started, I remember I would think like, I can't do this, like, because I'm not a very extroverted person. I try not to say that I'm shy, but I sometimes have that characteristic. So having to be the person that makes the child feel comfortable has really taught me how to step out of my comfort zone, even if I'm feeling shy or uncomfortable, how to be the bigger person and just kind of make a person comfortable. And I'm just going to miss that feeling, that vulnerable feeling of being scared to death, but also being excited for what's going to come. There's nothing like that excitement or that scare or that feeling that you have when you're on your way to pick up a new kid.
Yeah, it is a lot of questions running through your head while you're on your way. And then a lot of times they don't have any information, so you just have to learn as you go. So I'll miss that feeling too, for real, because I know a lot of times we'll be just waiting for a call. We won't have kids in the house for a couple weeks, and then we'll get this call, and we have all these questions, there's no answers, and then we're just looking at each other like, I don't know, should we do it? Should we take them? I don't know if they're gonna fit in. So you're just trying to figure everything out. And then you get them, and they just, this whole process of adjustment, and they adapt to your way of living, you adapt to having them in your home. And I don't know, it's just a really good feeling. It's a really good feeling. I'll miss that feeling too.
That, and just seeing the way that God moves in us, because it's something about children, they feel safe and comfortable with us. And I know it's because of, God's glory that lives in our home and in us. I've just seen God's favor on us, and just his glory in the relationships that we've been able to build.
Yeah, he's blessed us. He's blessed us to be able to love these kids and show them something different than what the world is showing them, and give them a part of our life. And that is, I don't know, it's been a great experience. It's been a great experience.
And he's also humbled us too in the process, and shown us how much we have to be grateful for, because a lot of the parents that lose their children, they just are broken themselves, or they come from a bad background or whatever. So I just look at myself and I think about where I came from, and it's not a perfect picture, but I thank God that he brought me to a place where I could take all that brokenness and I can pour into other people, and that he's blessed me and put me in a position to be able to do that, because it's only by his hand that we are where we are. And God has really shown us that everybody's one or two choices away from being in a situation they never thought they'd be in. And it's just been very humbling to see that. And it's made us really appreciate our family and our children and just the life that God's given us. Another thing that God has really shown me through doing foster care is just how much you lose in a short amount of time, as far as like your children and how they grow and what they learn and what they go through, because the children are taken from their families and they get to visit, but it's not the same. So when they see their children, it's like, oh wow, you know how to tie your shoes now, or oh wow, you know how to read now. And they miss those precious glimpses of their child's life. And it's made me really understand that every moment with my children is important, even if I don't see it, because we can't go back to when they were babies, or we can't go back to the time that passes. We have to take the time that we have with them now and cherish it, because there's no going back.
Yeah, and that's one of the main reasons why we're transitioning out of foster care, because we started to see the impact that it has on our kids. We started this when they were really young, so it didn't really affect them as much. But now that they're older and they're doing their own thing, they're both in sports and they just have their own personalities that have developed, they're more emotional and more impacted by the people who come in and out of our house. And so we saw that how it started to have not all bad, not all negative effects, but there were some negative effects that were happening. And we didn't want to take away from them to pour into other kids. So that was one of the biggest part of our decision to transition out of this. And I think that, like Jocelyn said, our time being more intentional and not missing certain things because we're too busy serving other people, and being able to use this time now to spend time with our kids and develop even more on our relationships with them, and just watch them grow and watch them experience life and show them how to do it the right ways.
Yeah, and who knows? God may open the door again for us to do foster care later on in life.
Yeah, I don't think this is the end, but I think it's just, we're just taking a little break. We're pushing pause on this part of our journey, and I think that one day we'll probably, as our kids get older, we'll probably
jump back into it.
I think it's going to be a part of us for the rest of our life, honestly.
I just felt like we were pretty good at it.
Yeah.
We excelled.
Yeah, it's been fun.
But glory to God for the things that he's doing in our lives, and we are glad that you are a part of our journey and that you get to share this time with us, and just keep us in your prayers, because this is a big transition, not only for us, but all of the children involved. So just pray for us, and don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you in our next video.